My name is Thomas Light. I am the researcher who designed and built Mega Man X. I urge the people of the future to remember that X is the world's hope.
Hello, and welcome to the Fully Charged Podcast. Coming to you from the Mega Man Network, I'm David Oxford, possibly better known around these parts as LBD Night Train. And joining me, as always, are my co-hosts, the Dude, Brian, Protodude Ostrin.
How's it going, guys?
ShadowRockZX.
Hey guys, what's rockin'?
And from GameXplain, our special guest, Ash Paulsen.
Hello there, thanks for having me on.
Pleasure to have you, as always.
I'm always happy to be here.
Glad to have you.
And we have come together, our forces united, to talk about, well, another unifying force in the video game industry, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, or as you may better know it, E3.
I can't believe it's already here again. How is it June again already? I just feel like this just happened. We just got the Everybody Is Here Smash Brothers Ultimate trailer, and oh my god, Ridley, and oh my god, and it's now a year later, and I don't know where the year went.
Smash is already out.
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
For some, they put it away and waiting for the next DLC fighter, you know?
I never put Smash. I am waiting for the next DLC fighter, but I don't think I could ever put Smash away. It's kind of like my one evergreen game that I'm just always going to keep going back to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I really need to get back to it myself at some point, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, I still need to cover all the Mega Man, they call them spirit fights.
Oh, you haven't done them all?
I think I've done them all at this point. I recorded them. I just gotta actually sit down and do commentary and stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm kind of crazy. I don't even know why I did this, but I actually do have every single spirit. Although I think I did miss the one they just added with the 3.1 update, but they'll put it into the regular shop rotation at some point.
Yeah, props to you. I mean, that's crazy.
It was just something I worked on over like 4 months. It wasn't something like I set out to do, but then as I played World of Light and I finished it, I'm like, I already have I'm only 200 to 300 shy of getting them all. Might as well just go for it. And it wasn't that hard to do, just kind of picking away at it over time. So it was a very casual thing that I attempted.
Gotta smash them all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, but this year we are here not to discuss Smash, but to discuss... Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess we can discuss Smash. I don't know what you guys are expecting out of E3, but this being a Mega Man podcast, first and foremost, I think we should probably address the big blue elephant in the room, and that is, well, Mega Man.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I am not expecting anything Mega Man from E3.
Me neither. Unfortunately, I feel like this is going to be a very short discussion, or at least this segment of it will be.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I think, honestly, X9, if that's a thing that ends up being announced, it's not going to be at E3, I think that's a good thing, because I think if there was a time that Capcom was going to announce it, it would not be in June, it would be in December.
I agree.
Yeah, completely agreed with the whole, the Mega Man's birthday and everything. It just doesn't feel like Mega Man's really an E3 property. As much as I hate to say that, we love Mega Man, but he's not necessarily one of Capcom's big leading properties like Monster Hunter with the Iceborne expansion coming out, Resident Evil. He's still the mascot, but he's right now not like headlining Capcom's different franchises.
Indeed.
So
needs a standout event on his own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We could put it this way: he's barely reaching 1 million. Meanwhile, the other franchises are doing actual multiple millions of copies. So you can tell where the priority is.
Yeah.
Right. That said, it is really nice just to be in the position of knowing that Capcom's very happy with how 11 and all the collections did last year, and that The series is in a good place. Like for as you guys know, for the first time in a long time, we can feel reasonably confident that we can look forward to another game down the line.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think it's cooler that Mega Man gets his own kind of event in December for his anniversary, and that just seems like the better place to do it, because like if they'd announced Mega Man 11 at E3, I think it would have been lost in the crowd. I don't think sites would have been talking about it nearly as much. It would have been the like in the "this also happened at E3" kind of column.
Right.
That said, well, you know what, I'll come back to that in a second, but the only thing I can imagine them announcing that would make significant waves at E3 that is Mega Man, not counting like a cameo like a Marvel vs. Capcom or Smash or something like that, I think the only like pure Mega Man game that they could announce at E3 that would potentially have this, you guys know where I'm going with this, that would have the significant enough splash to warrant being alongside everything else at E3 is Legends 3.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say Mega Man Soccer, too.
Even that, though, I wonder, because, at this point, Legends 3 is a cult sequel, like a 15-year late cult sequel to a game that was already a cult sequel, which itself was a sequel to a cult game. So I feel like the audience here is so narrow with Legends 3. I don't know if they would do that for E3. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get Legends 3. I hate to say that, but I don't know if E3 would be the place to drop that either.
I agree, actually. Legends... See, in the Mega Man community, at least my community, we like to talk about which is the most popular Mega Man franchise. Usually it's Classic, and then X, and then you got the Battle Network, and then the ones on the lower tiers are like Star Force and Legends. We like to joke around that Star Force only has 10 fans in his fan base, and sometimes it feels like that sometimes.
Like I was saying, it's with Legends, I mean, that it's like if there was any of them that would be on a scale that would possibly be able to break through that kind of glass ceiling, if you will, that's the one. That's the one that would probably require the most budget, the most push, the kind of thing that you really kind of, put out front. It's technically speaking, probably the biggest among the Mega Man franchises. And when I say technically, I'm talking about the open world aspects and the 3D and the graphics and just everything going on there. It's on a whole different scale from anything else in the franchise. And if Capcom really wanted to throw like some serious, effort and money and manpower and just the whole nine into it, that could potentially be an E3 showpiece. But that's kind of asking a lot, just in light of everything.
It's reaching.
Yeah. I can tell you what my dream Mega Man related E3 announcement would be, or one of them. I guess anything, but you guys will laugh at this. I tweeted about this maybe a few months back, but I had a dream one night. It was a great dream, but it was one of those dreams where you wake up and you're immediately sad that you woke up, because it's like, that was so good. And it was a complete remastering of the whole Mega Man Zero series with sprites and backgrounds redrawn by Toru Nakayama. Like, completely his style, completely, just remastered from the ground up with these beautiful HD graphics for Switch, and I was so excited because I didn't see it coming, and then I woke up.
That's so rad.
Just to clarify for anybody who might not, know all their, people who make these things, that's the artist who provided the production art for the games, right?
Yes, correct. So if you get like the Mega Man Zero art book, you'll see all of his stuff throughout. And I have to say, even now, I think Mega Man Zero's art might still be my favorite art style from any game ever. Like across any genre, I love that series' art.
My dream Mega Man announcement, besides X9 of course, would probably be Battle Network 7. Just like have a continuation of the Battle Network storyline where they follow Land Sun Patch and they have online features and all that. I don't know. I've been saying for a while, like, I really want Mega Man RPGs to come back. I really like to just play a new one for the first time in forever. That'd be pretty epic for me.
I would love that. I feel like I might rather have another sequel series in that timeline, though, just because Battle Network as it stands, I love it. But as it stands, it's one of the few Mega Man series to have gotten a definitive conclusion, and I appreciate that. So I kind of want to leave it where it is and just get another maybe 100 years later, after Star Force, and maybe get that going. But I just love that like Battle Network actually did end properly.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, and it's okay, even if you did go with Land Sun, I don't think you want to go Battle Network 7 necessarily. You might want to kind of create like a new sub-series, like, Battle Network Next or something, just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Battle Next Work.
Yeah, the X series.
I thought of that one too, nice. And then I immediately hated myself for it, so...
See, I have no shame, so I just went and said it.
I have a friend, his name is Saberman, and he at one point he was working on a Battle Network fan project. They called it Battle Network Legacy, or Mega Man Legacy. And basically it does follow Land Sun, and they also have Mega Man.WEXE because they're starting to incorporate the wave technology.
Oh,
and
cool.
Yeah, that's like some new characters and stuff. Dex is the mayor and all that good stuff. So it's like a continuation, but it's a whole new series too.
Nice.
Interesting idea.
Are they still working on that Chrono X fan game?
Yeah, it's still going strong.
Nice.
I haven't heard anything about that in a while, but...
Yeah, they're still working on it.
Let's see. I still gotta finish the second and third Star Forces. Now that I think about it, I would love to see a continuation of ZX at some point, just to cap that off, if nothing else.
That damn cliffhanger. Mega Man and cliffhangers really don't mix very well, because like we're waiting on that. We're waiting to get Mega Man Trigger off the moon, and we've like been waiting to see what happened to Axel after his head crystal was shattered by Lumine for like a million years now, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Spoilers for 15-year-old games here.
Right.
Spoiler warning. But I hate cliffhangers, and I've really grown to hate them in Mega Man games, because so often they just don't get followed up on. It's like, unless that sequel is already in development, don't do a cliffhanger.
Right. It's like
guarantee.
The one time they decided to do a cliffhanger, they just pretty much canceled the series for a while.
And part of me wonders if they were working on X9, or at least had planned to do it back then, and then just scrapped it for whatever reason. But I wonder if they had every intention of going right into X9 back when X8 came out.
I wouldn't doubt it, to be honest. Like, for example, KJ Inafune, he wanted to remake all the first 6 Mega Man X games.
Right.
He put out Maverick Hunter X, 7. And then the rest is history.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have stopped at 6. He should have remade the first 7. But anyway.
I just really hope, like, given all the groundswell around X lately, I just really hope they're at least thinking about X9. Because the soundtrack that came out with the whole, like, the story synopses for everything X has gone through thus far, and then that last column is like, X's story is not yet over. And I'm like, okay, let's do it, guys. Let's finally do it.
It's coming.
Technically, if they never do anything, it's not like they haven't, Mega Man Zero kind of fulfills that.
That's true,
as far as prophecy. That's the problem.
No, you're totally right. I want to play the Elf Wars, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm torn on that. I don't... If Elf Wars was a thing, I'd want it to be its own series. I don't want it to be like X9 or anything like that, because then you have to end the X series, and I don't know if I'm ready for that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, if they did Elf Wars, they would have to make up a lot too, because as far as I know, all we know about is that X and Zero fought Omega, and also there was the Mother Elf and all that good stuff. So they would have to make up a lot of new story elements to actually make a game out of it, I would think.
That's true.
Yeah, it'd be fleshing out what's there for sure. How long did the Elf Wars last? I'm trying to remember. It was...
God, it's been a while.
I thought it was like 100 years.
Yeah, I thought it was. I feel like that's just the de facto for Mega Man. Like 100 years is how long.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a 100-year war.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a 100-year war.
Was it not? Okay.
It was pretty brief. I mean, Mega Man Zero took place like 100 years later or
That's
something.
True.
But no, I'm pretty sure it was like, I'm trying to think if it was like 1 year or 3 years or something like that. It wasn't like too long as I recall, but when you consider that you can usually beat one of these games in about 6 or 8 hours or something, that's a lot of filling in to do. So
true.
Maybe it could sustain its own series.
I just want to see. I want to see X's final triumph over the Sigma virus in game form. This all happens off screen, and X is my favorite character of all time. I want to see his huge triumph over his greatest nemesis that happens, but we don't get to see it right now.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's pretty grueling, guys.
Yeah, it's kind of, the issue. It's kind of like with Mega Man Classic series. People are like, "Oh, we want to see the connection to X." Well, you don't want that in the Classic series because then you don't get any more Classic games unless they make it a non-numbered game or something. That's why I've always thought it should be done in the X series, where it's kind of flashing back. Think Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, the movie. You guys seen that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know how it effectively closed the book on the Batman-Joker rivalry, but it did it in a way that they were still making Justice League episodes with the Joker, and Batman after that.
That's a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how you want to approach something like that, I think. If not just like a side story kind of game, which who knows how Capcom feels about doing that kind of stuff at this point.
Right.
Yeah. L4.
Now, as far as exploring something as lore heavy as the Elf Wars are, which it's more lore than game at this point, or even more lore than story at this point. I feel good about it with the current guys doing Mega Man because they finally explored what kind of drove Wily and Light apart in Mega Man 11. That was a huge part of it.
Yeah.
So I like the idea that we've got guys who might see some of these holes in the past events and are willing to explore them further. And in the case of 11, they even incorporated it into a major gameplay element, which is even better. So
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
There's just so
That
much
gives
they
me
could
some
do.
hope.
I mean, and I don't know if we'll ever get any of this stuff announced at E3 or not this year or in future years. But there's so much they could do, and it's just the series is still so ripe for different ideas and different things they could do. How has there not been a dedicated Mega Man rhythm game yet, guys? This is some of the most storied video game music of all time, beloved. How does he not have his own rhythm game? Come, let's
Right.
take time.
Like
Rhythm
theater
Man
rhythm.
Heaven.
Yeah.
how do the
Yeah.
makers of Street Fighter never make a Mega Man fighting game? No, the arcade games don't count.
Right.
Does Capcom
I remember,
do
I
any
remember
rhythm
everybody
games?
wanted that way back in the 90s. Right alongside that XRPG that we eventually got. And that was, well, maybe a discussion for another time. But that's not an indication I don't like it. It's just not what I was hoping for, is basically two separate things there.
Right.
As far as E3 goes, if I would have expected anything to be shown there, it would have been a collection of some sort, because... And I don't think we're getting that this year, because usually they announce it ahead of time, and they haven't done that. So unless we hear something in the next couple of days,
Yeah.
I don't
agree.
think we're going to be seeing any sort of new collection at E3.
Though that is a good point. Actually, Capcom said yesterday during their blog post about their E3 plans that they have something cooking for tomorrow, June 6th. I have no idea what it could be, though.
I'm gonna guess it's something to do with Google Stadia, however you pronounce it.
right.
Because that full reveal I think is tomorrow too. So it'll most likely be support for that, or I don't know, Monster Hunter or something.
Yeah.
I thought it was Stadia, like
Stadia?
Stadium.
Oh right.
I thought it was
Ah,
Stadia
yeah,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
Stadia.
Yeah, perhaps.
Got it. Yeah. So that's where my bets are.
Okay, so sorry, was it June 6th that you said it was happening?
Yeah, tomorrow, June 6th. They didn't give a specific time. They just said keep an eye out for updates, especially on June 6th.
Does June 6th, 6/6, I don't know, translate to anything in, Japan? Like the way we have Rockman Day or Goku Day, and, because the numbers play funny?
I mean, that's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
point. What, isn't it on the 9th or something?
June 9th for Roku.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rockman Day.
Yeah.
So what would
You know-
6/6 be?
I don't have no idea.
We have been saying, I think rightfully so, that we're probably not getting a Mega Man announcement at E3 and that it might not be the right format for Mega Man. But I could also see a surprise Mega Man announcement during Nintendo's E3 Direct going over really well with Nintendo's fans. If they positioned it as a reveal for Nintendo, that could work in its own Direct. But otherwise, I don't, in their Direct. Otherwise, I don't see how it could work, though.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that Nintendo is going to money hat Legends 3 the way they did Bayonetta
Yeah.
and whatever else?
Exactly. They should. Man, that'd be
They
great.
just they show a title. It's coming. Oh my god. People freak out over a title once again.
Yeah, that's all it would take. Now, here's the thing, though. I think we could see one potential Mega Man-centric, not Mega Man series-centric, but one that heavily involves Mega Man announcement at E3. Do you guys remember the rumors about Capcom kind of going back to the drawing board and redoing Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yes.
That might be a thing that they could do there.
That's true.
I don't know if that's better suited for like your Evos or something like that, but that's just a possibility.
That's true, and I feel like they've still got to be working on that. Or MVC4. I don't think they're going to let that series kind of ride off into the distance with is the abject disappointment that Ultimate was. So, which sucks because my boy X finally got in after all this time,
I know.
and nobody liked the game. Nobody liked it.
It's the monkey paw thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, he's extremely sad.
I still have to play the one that we did get.
Oh man. Yeah, if you really think about it though, in terms of like the Capcom redemption arc that's going on, they release all these good games, but they still gotta make a good fighting game again. So MVC4 could be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, if we're talking about Capcom fighting game revivals, this does not have to do with Mega Man, I apologize, but I want a new Rival Schools. That's still like one of my favorite fighting game series of all time.
Yeah, brother.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Put it on Switch.
I'd love a new Saturday Night Slam Masters, but the problem is the guy who did, I think, Fist of the North Star did the character designs, and honestly, I mean, I'm okay with just, like, filling out the roster with wrestling-themed Street Fighter characters, and then, like, add some new ones for good measure, but, just bring it back that way, but other people disagree, so, I don't know.
Right. When do you guys think we'll get any more news on the upcoming Mega Man movie, for better or worse?
Maybe next year or next 2 years.
Yeah.
Maybe there will be a teaser poster at E3. Maybe there's going to be a teaser poster at E3, and then they saw the reaction to Sonic, and were like, you know what? We're gonna wait and see how this plays out.
It's gonna be.
I don't blame them.
It's gonna be really interesting to see what kind of design and vibe they settle on for this movie. If it's anything other than animated or mostly CG, I just don't see it landing. I can't see a live-action Mega Man landing.
I think they did confirm it was live action.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I think they did too. I thought they confirmed it was like live-action CG combo, like Sonic.
I just realized something. Who's doing the movie?
20th Century Fox. Well, they're distributing it, but
That means it's a Disney movie now.
yeah.
Oh man, that's
Funnily
so
enough,
weird.
They put out that schedule for like the next 5 years of movies from Disney, and it wasn't there. But it was mentioned recently in a Capcom press release for like the future outlook, and they had the Monster Hunter movie, Mega Man movie. So it's not dead or anything, but it may be a while.
Right.
Like something since the announcement where everybody was parroting it and forgot that they'd already announced the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it in all likelihood, we'll all wish it ended up being killed because, video game movies, not the best track record, but it's just weird that Capcom seems to have enough faith in Mega Man as an IP that it can carry its own movie, which is kind of cool.
All of a sudden, yeah.
Yeah.
Canceling everything, and then bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
TV show. 11.
Yeah,
Right.
that is very. They're really pushing Mega Man lately. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We did
Not
it,
that we
guys.
have any problems with that.
No.
Personally speaking, and I mean, this is probably going to come across as sacrilege, but I really hope that they do not adhere too much to the games.
Yeah.
I mean,
can see that.
yeah, if it's trying to go for its own thing. I mean, although we did see what happened when they tried to do that with Sonic, and for better and worse, I guess. I mean, I'm super hyped about the movie because it's going to probably be a train wreck, and I love train wrecks in that sense. But we saw what happened when they tried to kind of adapt their own source material to Sonic. And
Well, Sonic's kind of a different story because Sonic's, let's face it, I love Sonic dearly, but the Sonic franchise over its storied history is kind of a mess.
That would be putting it kindly, for sure.
You could ask 5 different people what Sonic the Hedgehog is about, and you could probably get 5 different answers.
That's
And they would all be equally valid, is where I'm coming from here. And theoretically, you could do that with Mega Man between, like, you know, Battle Network and Star Force and Legends and all that stuff. But basically what I'm thinking, though, is it seems that Capcom's really doubling down on the original lately. We got Mega Man 11, which kind of goes back to the roots of the whole conflict. We've got Fully Charged, which is like a different interpretation of the light builds, like, you know, Mega Man and, you know, Robot Masters kind of thing. We got that Patchy Slot Machine, which is yet another interpretation of that. Yeah. And I could honestly see the movie being yet another interpretation of that without, you know, being a strict adherence to, like, what we saw in 1987.
That's true.
And I'm honestly for that, because, you know, let's not try to... keep it faithful, like, you know, but at the same time, don't, you know, it's a balancing act, but I think it can be done.
There was something that your wife posted the other day about how the military or the U.S. government is tracking down Sonic, being like, "Oh my gosh, look at this guy! What is he doing? You know, get him real quick!" It's like, if they do that for Mega Man 2, I'm so done.
Yeah, that would be so bad. But, I mean, with Sonic, it actually makes kind of sense if you're familiar with the whole Two Worlds thing. But...
True.
Like, that's actually part of Sonic canon that is, like, kind of rarely addressed and usually kind of, preferably, just swept off to the side and pretend it's not there, but it's a thing.
Sonic Adventure. Adventure 2, I mean. Oh, boy.
Yeah, those are part of that, too.
Yeah.
Wow, so, yeah, we've gone nearly half an hour here, and we haven't even talked much about E3 outside of what we expect for Mega Man, which is to say nothing.
Not
so,
much. Yeah.
Yeah, is there anything else you guys want to add on the Mega Man at E3 conversation?
Well, I do have some ideas I could share about, like, the possibilities of new Mega Man announcements, if y'all are down for that.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, so, of course, the big one. I think if they were going to announce any Mega Man game at E3, it might be X9, because that's people are really hyped for that right now. Everybody's so thirsty for X9. It's ridiculous. Like, even the not so crazy Mega Man fans are asking for X9. So I have some ideas for it, or at least some, like, a wish list for an X9. The first one is, I really have no reason for this other than it's my favorite aquatic animal, but I kind of want there to be a dolphin maverick.
I'd be down for that. Dolphins are awesome. Yeah, like I think that'd be super cool.
I could see the dolphin maverick being like high-speed aquatic maverick, and maybe his weapon could be based on like cutting the air to create these wind attacks, and maybe the Weapon X gets is kind of akin to Twin Slasher in a way, and how it functions. Yeah, underwater stage and everything, of course.
What would this Maverick's name be? Like Wave Dolphin or like
Wave Dolphin,
Torrent Dolphin
Dynamite
or something?
Dolphin.
Dynamite, nice.
Aerodynamic Echo.
That's good.
I'm not very good at the names, but I like Wave Dolphin.
Nice. You know what's funny? I can't remember who it was that pointed this out to me for the first time, but if you think about Crash Bandicoot in a Mega Man X context, that sounds like a Maverick. That is a perfect name for a Maverick.
Dang, that's true.
Right?
Oh
it's
my
so
God.
weird. Yeah, you can never unhear that once you think of Crash Bandicoot in an X context or a Maverick
Crash
context.
Bandicoot.
Yeah, like I can hear the
Like
X4 announcer saying
sense
it.
of the Metal Gear cast.
Right, yeah.
That is so
I
awesome.
remember somebody had once put together like this random name generator that was basically labeled as for use with either Mega Man X or Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
Cool.
So if we did get an X9, let's just say, you know, we're living in the best timeline that we do get an X9. Would you guys want it to be its own visual style like 11 is, like do its own modern thing, or do the Sonic Mania route where you have those really beautiful SNES or PlayStation era graphics, but jacked up to 15, like using today's, you know, technology and more fluid animation and such?
That's something I wanted to touch on, actually, because I was saying they could do cell shaded of 11, or they could stay more to X8, kind of just make a modern X8. But if they had to go retro the graphics, I would hope they would make it 32-bit based off X4 rather than 16-bit. I don't mind the 16-bit, but I think 32-bit was like the best look for the X series in my opinion.
Okay.
It's just so iconic to me.
I do love X's sprite, and I mean, I love them anyway. But yeah, the PlayStation X sprite, I think is probably my favorite overall. I just think he looks really badass there.
I agree.
And I'd still love to see Axel in that style.
I know, that'd be awesome actually.
Yeah.
Axel in a 16-bit style would be neat too.
Yeah, I'd love to see
but,
both.
I mean, I can go either way. Honestly, I'm not too choosy. I mean, one thing I really like is what the fan game the fellows are doing with Mega Man X Corrupted, where it's a very clearly Super NES styled X, but the sprites, the pixel art is redone, so it's like the same style, but it's not the same poses and animations.
Right. No, I love what that team is doing with that game, and I'm glad that it's just under the radar enough that I forget about it for wide swaths of time, because I really want it to come out. But, you know, I respect the fact that fan games take forever to do, and so I forget about it just long enough to where I'm like, oh, okay, it's been 6 months. I'll check in. How's it going? And it's like, okay, not ready yet, but eventually it'll be there.
Right.
One day.
Yeah.
I'm more interested less in the art style than what X's design would be, though.
True.
Ooh, that's true.
I'm actually
Would he look like X8? Would he look like just the original X like we saw in Maverick Hunter X? Would he look like, which I guess also goes for Ultimate Marvel Capcom now that I think about it, or not Ultimate, but Infinite?
Oh yeah, we kept saying Ultimate, Infinite, yeah.
And then on that very note, there's the, I'm sorry, I forget the guy's name. I'm very sorry, artist guy.
True Force?
Yeah. The one that they used for the True Force figure that also got the Zero, and they were using for that art piece in the eCapcom shop. That would be a neat, more modern take, I think.
Yeah.
That would be.
Oh yeah, it would be pretty neat.
I have to say, I've always been a really, really personal big fan of X's style in X8. I just love that kind of, and actually really all of them, X0 and Axel, but especially X, he's got that kind of trimmed down, leaner, streamlined kind of anime-ish look and kind of a hard-edged, badass look to him. And X8 is like by far my favorite characterization of X as well, so anything they did in X9, I would want them to go on from X8 in terms of how they characterize X, because he was a badass in that game.
That's where
That's so much better than X7.
Oh, God, we don't talk about X7.
I feel the same way. Like, I want to keep the continuity up with the X8 designs, but they got to do something about Zero's hair from X8. I wasn't a big fan of like the super thin ponytail.
Oh, sure.
You know? Yeah. Bring back the bush or whatever it's called. I don't know.
Right.
Oh man.
Whoa, PG. Anyway. Get that man some conditioner.
Right.
It's just too bad about Mark Gotha, Lucas Gilbertson, the X8 voice actors. They really nailed those characters.
Mark Gotha was perfect as X. Literally perfect, in my opinion. And it's just such a shame.
It really is.
It is. I haven't listened to the one they've got for Marvel vs. Capcom at length, though. How did he do? Because I think Bosch, Johnny Young Bosch, the former Black Ranger, he's done okay as Zero from what I've heard. So how's the new X?
I wasn't a fan, I have to say. Well, he was okay in some lines, but other lines he just sounded really bad. Like, one of his victory lines was, we can change the future or something, and he just sounded so goofy and corny, like a second-rate action hero. And I'm like, man,
we can change the future.
Yeah, I hated that. And there were some lines where he's okay, but no, I agree. Johnny Young Bosch is a great Zero, and they can keep him. He can keep doing it. He's a great Zero, but they got to find someone new for X.
If we see Sigma, I hope they find someone good for him, because admittedly, when they finally gave him a voice, it was different from what I imagined he would be. I always imagined something more along the lines of like a Beast Wars Megatron or a Megabyte from Reboot kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, really? Because I actually thought his voice in Marvel was pretty much exactly what I always imagined. It was pretty close to what we got in Maverick Hunter X, or sorry, Day of Sigma, I think, too.
I agree. I actually love Sigma and Infinite.
I'm talking like we're talking back before X4 here. It's like that's how I imagine this was.
Gotcha,
He's got that cartoon villain voice.
And then they established him with like this kind of gravelly voice, which they've apparently stuck to as it being kind of his thing. It really didn't work for me in X4 because you got to remember that Sigma was the former leader of the Maverick Hunters. He was like the good guy, and it's just the way he talked in X4. He just sounded like almost too evil, like in such a way that it's like I can't imagine anybody ever actually following this guy.
Yeah.
The guy,
okay.
the fellow who did it in Maverick Hunter X, which was also the one who did it in X8, I believe. He managed to nail it, I think, much more, where it's like actually kind of able to, you know, you can almost imagine following them. You can almost like. You can kind of respect him in Maverick Hunter X before he goes bad, and then of course he sounds like an evil version of that in the like X8 and later in that game. So it's much more appreciable. And again, like other than like that cutscene, like that I think they used in a trailer, I haven't heard too much of the Marvel Capcom one because I still need to play through it because I'm always playing stuff. But yeah, so how was the latest one there? But that's what I think they need to maintain in him is what they had going from X8 to Maverick Hunter X. But did the Marvel Capcom one do that?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's got like this low voice, but like he definitely sounds, awesome. Basically,
I agree. I think he sounded great in Ultimate, or sorry, Infinite.
When he's doing his special, he's like, "Bow down to me."
It's really
so great.
And I do recommend for those of you who have not played through the story mode in Infinite. I mean, by most objective measures, it's pretty stupid and a waste of time. But for us Mega Man fans, it's actually really cool because I won't explain or spoil how, but they pretty much position X as one of the most powerful characters in both universes, and it's just I love basking in that.
Sweet.
Yeah. Great.
Very epic.
Yeah, I've got it. I got it on a sale a while back. It's just one of those things I need to get back around to.
Yeah, you can blow through it in like 3 hours.
I've got Ultimates on there too. I've got so much Marvel Capcom I need to play.
Nice. I will not download Ultimate or buy it. I still have a grudge against that game for only having Zero, cutting Mega Man, and then giving me an X costume. I can't ever forgive that game. Nope, can't do it.
It was cheap, and it had Deadpool and stuff, so, I mean, I'm kind of, And I heard it was better than Infinite, so...
Right.
Speaking of story, though, if we're going back to the X9 now, I actually predict for X9 they may go back to, like, a basic story, kind of like 11. They just want to, make things simple again, not too convoluted, to just, like, get everybody reintroduced to the series.
Yeah, that's kind of... Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They want the largest audience as possible. It's been gone for so long,
Yeah.
I get it. I think that does make the most sense. But if they are, I never thought they'd be willing to make a game called Mega Man 11 after all this time. Because again, when you see a title called something 11, you automatically think, well, if I'm not a fan already and I got to play the first 10 games, how could I possibly, get into it? And Capcom took that risk. So I agree, but I also do wonder if they'd be willing to do X9 and just say, maybe do a little recap at the beginning, but let's say, hey, Axel, this happened to him, Lumine and all this, but I just feel like if they're going to do the reboot type thing, I wish they'd almost just reboot it. Like, I don't really want an X9 that ignores the cliffhanger from X8,
I mean, the Legacy collections are out there now, so you don't really have an excuse for not catching up.
Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, you do have an excuse because if you get to 6 and 7 and quit and never see 8, that's a fair excuse.
Don't buy the second one.
But at least they have easy modes. So.
True. Yeah, I think with this story for X9, they could, since KJ Inafune is not there to meddle with things anymore, they can focus more on X for once rather than Zero.
Yes. Because, and that's what you saw that happen for worse in X7. Actually, I'd say for better in X6 and X8 and for worse in X7. All 3 of those games, after Inafune's departure, really did focus a lot more on X and not Zero. And I think that was definitely the, Inafune had left by then effect. So I do like the idea of an X9 that continues focusing on X.
And yet, we have Maverick Hunter X, which was, spearheaded by Inafune. So.
That's true. That is really weird, and that also is probably, other than X8, that's probably my other favorite characterization of X. Day of Sigma, the way X does everything in that anime, I just love it. And his the way he is in the game, his lines, the way he acts, super cool. I love the way he's characterized in that.
Yeah, I really hope they continue that for X9.
Yeah, me too.
And I also predict that Sigma's going to be back once again, of course. You can't have X without Sigma.
Yeah.
I wonder how they would do that, though, because the whole thing about X8, I'll never forget the first time I saw that trailer before they had settled on Lumine's voice. And it's like, Sigma's never coming back. And it's like, well, you position X8 around the whole thing about Sigma finally being defeated, so... Then again, we know that X later has to use the Mother Elf to eradicate the Sigma virus completely. So he's still around in some form, but I wonder if he would just be kind of a background element and not necessarily coming back in humanoid form.
I would hope.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, probably. They'd just be fighting the virus version of him forever.
Yeah, like a new villain wants to use the Sigma virus to screw things up, but it's not Sigma himself.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Interesting. Well, you weaponize virus.
Yeah, like I expect Sigma to come back regardless, but it would be pretty cool if they could actually introduce a new villain for once and actually keep him as the main villain for once.
Oh, I've been wanting that for so long.
Yeah.
They talk about we're here to fight Mavericks. No, you're just here to fight Sigma and anybody who follows them. That's basically what it ended up coming down to.
Yeah.
There was such potential there for wider things, and we've only ever really seen it touched on in Command Mission. That was the only time I can remember Sigma not being involved in some way. Well, I guess X6 actually, that was gate driving things. He just decided to revive Sigma because of course he did.
Yeah. I always thought it would be a cool twist, and I mean they couldn't do this with the way the story has gone, but I thought it would be a cool twist since Light and Wily can both be AIs. We know that now. Why not Dr. Kane? And so let's say Dr. Kane resurfaces as an AI all this time later, and he's like, you know what? Ooh. I screwed up. I created Reploids based on... I wasn't good enough. I created Reploids. Mavericks came from that. I want to erase it all and start over. I screwed up. Let's destroy everything and start over. And I think that would be a pretty cool motivation for Dr. Kane, who otherwise just, seemed like a pretty decent guy who might just be so racked with guilt that he's like, you know what? I'm going to wipe it all out.
That'd be a pretty bold move, though. I don't know if Maverick Hunter X counts or not, all things considered. Yeah. So, does he need to be an AI?
That's true, too. Yeah.
And, I mean, let's face it, Dr. Kane is a scientist, but he's never been shown to be a particularly good one. Much less on the level of Dr. Light or Dr. Wily, or else we wouldn't be in this mess, probably.
Right.
So, yeah, him making an AI that's able to do all that's kind of,
I love how we've just gone completely away from E3 and into Mega Man lore. Just, of course we did, because it's a Mega Man podcast.
I was going to mention that. I might have to re-record the intro here.
I mean, given that it is a Mega Man podcast, before, first and foremost, I still think people are going to be very happy with this.
Yeah, here's hoping. Let's just hope they didn't come here to... hear actual E3 stuff.
Right.
Well, I guess
they'll go somewhere else.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I do have a few predictions typed down.
Okay, let's hear them.
Cool.
I mean, I think I have too many for me to just go through all of them, but most of mine are oriented around Nintendo, because of course GameXplain, and we mostly focus on Nintendo, and Sony's not going to be there this year at all. I will say this. I'll go back to Smash Brothers.
Hey, that's going to cut our recording time down by about a third.
That's true, because there's no PlayStation. We know they're not going to be there. So I guess I'll go back to Smash, since that's one of the biggest things for Nintendo. And I predict that because of the timeline for the DLC characters, they all have to be out by February 2020, right? And they're running out of time. So I think they are going to both reveal and release the second DLC character E3 week. I think we're going to get it that week. And my prediction, this has been my prediction for a while. Obviously, there's been a bit of kind of a groundswell around this same rumor now, but I think it's going to be a Microsoft rep, like an Xbox Game Studios rep, which to me either means Steve, which I'm hoping not, Master Chief, right, Master Chief, which I personally don't want, but could see how cool that would be, or Banjo-Kazooie, which is, fingers crossed, I want Banjo in this game so much.
Who doesn't?
I saw the GameXplain video hinting that silhouette was so misleading.
I know, and I mean, I know there are those rumors going around. Who knows? I hope that he's in. I mean, we don't know for sure, obviously, but it seems like there's a decent chance. So that is, I think they're going to reveal and release whatever DLC character number 2 is. And I wonder if they may even tease the third one, because again, they're running out of time.
Yeah, they are. Half the year gone, and they only released Joker.
Right. So it's just like, it feels like they really need to do that. And I will say that I think as part of the update that adds this second DLC character, because of the data mines that have gone down, I think it'll also add home run contest back into the mix.
Ooh.
Oh, please,
That's
God.
cool.
You know a mode I want to see return? Break the targets.
That would be
the original
cool.
music.
Oh, this is so good. The target test music, it is in the game, but not, obviously with target test. And I wouldn't want it back if it was like it was in Brawl, because they were just standardized for every character.
Yeah.
However, I don't blame them for not wanting to make 75 different tailored target tests.
That's why it would have to be like DLC. I hesitate to say paid DLC because it is a lot of work.
No, that's true. I would be okay with that personally. I mean, I know paid DLC is like some people are like, oh, it's always evil and horrible. I disagree, and I would be willing to pay for that.
Yeah, me too.
I'd love to see just a classic stage pack that you could pay for that basically just brings back the rest of the stages.
Oh, like Sector Z and what's the other one missing from 64?
That Metal Cavern, from 64.
Sector Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't just mean 64. I'm talking just
all
across the series.
Gotcha.
Poke Floats and...
Yeah, because they're...
Floats.
Break them up by game if you want, but I mean,
Yeah.
I just want the rest of the stages.
Because they're only like, after everything they've included, there are only like something like 11 to 14 stages missing, and I can see why some of them are missing, like Jungle Hijinks from Smash 4, the dual layer background thing. That wouldn't work with Stage Morph, I don't think. But why not bring back Rainbow Road from Smash 3DS? That seems like a really strong one to have here.
Yeah.
Not bad.
As far as the DLC characters go, I'm not too concerned. When they announced the game, it was like in February, which, like, when did Joker come out?
Mid-April?
April.
Mid-April?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like we had the full game by, like, November that year, and it's like we've got 1 out of, 5 DLC characters here?
Right.
I mean, just because they haven't announced them doesn't mean that they haven't been working
they
or they don't
definitely
have them, like, ready.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, we'll probably see or hear something at E3. Maybe we'll get a roadmap, like, for the future release dates or, like, announcements or something, if nothing else. And, I mean, I don't really feel like they're running out of time. I just feel like, they just, I'm sure they've got everything in hand.
Right. And I just thought of this, but one reason I feel like maybe Banjo could be a possibility, like a real possibility, is because if you look at last year, Nintendo used their Direct last year to announce a character that is exciting to Nintendo fans and is absolutely not an icon outside of that, being Ridley. Like, very few people care about Ridley outside of Nintendo and Metroid fans, and that would be the same for Banjo.
True.
Very few people care about Banjo outside of Nintendo fans.
You think they might announce Banjo at the Xbox conference instead in that case?
That would be awesome.
I don't think so, only because I don't think Nintendo would give that up for their own Direct. I don't think they'd let Microsoft have that nugget.
Well, it would certainly be a good show of good faith, and let's face it, Nintendo doesn't put all their big stuff in their directs, even at E3.
That's true.
Case in point, Metroid Prime 4 was a logo when it was announced, and then we got the whole reveal of Samus Returns during the Treehouse after. So
I know, during the Treehouse.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'll never
I was
forget that.
with that E3, and then that happened. I'm like, oh, okay.
So, in light of that, what would letting Microsoft announce a character they own being in Smash be, overall?
That's true.
Like, they still got 3 other characters they can announce.
And that would be a really cool surprise, because if they gave Xbox that announcement, hey, guess what? This character, let's say Banjo, is in Smash and you can get him right now, that leaves Nintendo more direct time to be freed up for things that aren't Smash. So, that would be a really cool surprise, having a Smash character drop after the Xbox conference, just for how weird it would be.
So cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool if Doug Bowser, since he just became president, he just gets up on stage at Microsoft and shows off this cool new Smash DLC character alongside maybe a new Banjo 3E.
Didn't Microsoft today say like they'll have some kind of special guest for their conference, or someone's coming, or something like
Oh, did they? I didn't catch
that.
that.
Something like that, and everybody's kind of going, "Oh, Doug Bowser," you know.
Right.
He'll show up and
Yeah.
Well, if they have Bowser, I hope they give him pyro for his entrance.
Yeah. You guys mentioned Metroid Prime 4, so I guess I'll mention another prediction I have here. I don't think we're going to see Metroid Prime 4 at all, given how obviously restarted development recently. But I do think this may be finally the time that we see Metroid Prime Trilogy get revealed for Switch.
Yes.
I think it's going to happen. It feels like the right time. It feels like that's been kind of been whispered about for a long time now, and I think we're going to see it at E3.
I agree.
Yep. Nice little stopgap.
Yeah.
And
It would be.
I would add that if Metroid Prime Trilogy doesn't appear at this E3, they might be keeping it close to the chest until the time is right down the line.
Yeah.
Also, do you think that they might actually use the motion controls from the Wii version with the Joy-Cons?
They better.
They would
That's all I'll
have
say.
they would have to incorporate the motion controls somehow, because that was such a revelation for 3, and then to go back and play 1 and 2 like that, it was so cool, and I can't imagine they'd want to regress from that.
True.
I'm not much of a first-person shooter player, but when it's something a little closer to like a light gun game that way, I'm much more comfortable with
Totally.
it. So that would arguably be a make or break kind of thing for me.
Sure. I mean, at least give us the option. You can either play OG style or play Wii style.
Well, you'd almost have to if they have a portable mode.
Oh, that's a
But
good point.
on the other hand, you look at Mario Odyssey, and it's like, oh, hey, we've got these great motion controls, but you can't use them when you're docked or like
Oh,
ice.
yeah.
So, tough rock spell,
Right.
kind of thing. So who knows? It's Nintendo.
Speaking of Super Mario Odyssey, this is something I have written down as well. This is kind of an unsafe prediction, but I'm thinking maybe Nintendo's been working on some proper DLC for Odyssey they're going to surprise us with, like an actual DLC kingdom. Not just Luigi's Balloon, whatever. Like an actual kingdom that is like with new moons and new stuff to do. And I don't know. It never felt like to me that Odyssey...
Sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. Like an Isle
Sunshine.
Delfino. Yeah, like a Delfino
That'd be
kingdom.
so great.
Or
You don't think it's too far out for DLC on that?
it is. It's right on the cusp. But I feel like they were announcing Mario Kart 8 DLC at least a decent amount of time after Mario Kart 8 itself came out. And I admit it's a somewhat unlikely prediction, maybe even very unlikely. But I just feel like there's so much room for them to squeeze a little bit more out of Odyssey.
I would almost think at this point they may as well just make a sequel to Odyssey.
That's true. Just
Like they did with Galaxy. I was just about to say it, because they had so many ideas. They said, forget DLC. I don't remember if DLC... I think it was originally the plan. But anyway, they had so many ideas, and they were like, you know what, let's just make it another game. And that just seems more likely at this time frame.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think you could be right about that. But I feel like we're going to see the return of the Odyssey format in some style. I don't know now if it's Odyssey 2. I don't know if we'll get that announced this year. Only if it's DLC would I expect that. But I do think we're going to see the return of that format of Mario for sure.
I would love to see a Mario Odyssey that just focuses on fan service so much more. And I mean, not to say that the others didn't have their fan service, but I'm talking, I want to visit Ceresaland.
Yes.
I want to visit Isle Delfino. I want to visit Donkey Kong Island.
I want a Subcon Kingdom. I want a Subcon Kingdom with the boss being Wart. I've always wanted Wart to come back outside of his
me
cameo
too.
in Link's Awakening. I want Wart proper back.
Same here, here. Oh, and I guess Dinosaur World, what's it called? Mario World. Like some sort of Odyssey version of that would be kind of neat.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, sorry, one more. Bean Kingdom.
Bean Kingdom,
Nice.
that's good.
Nice.
Just stuff like that. That's like what I want in like more Odyssey, is just something that fan servicey.
Right.
The Subcon one, the only reason I didn't mention that is because I don't know how that's supposed to exist in the Mario
No, I
world.
know.
I assumed it was like in dreams, but they could make it work. I don't really care how. If they do it, go for it.
Well, and I mean, at this point,
Yeah.
they've muddled the history of Mario and Donkey Kong so much now with how things play out with Pauline and Odyssey. Like, I think they can pretty much just do whatever they want now.
This is true. Anyway, I'm sorry, Shad. You were saying something, and then I rudely interrupted.
I'm thinking, of course, we've all seen at this point how in Mario Maker 2 they have that extra space there for a new course theme. I think they might actually show us something, either at the E3 Direct or at the end of the Mario Maker 2 Invitational Tournament. They're just like, and for our final round, we have Super Mario Bros. 2 theme, or something like that. I think that would be pretty hype if they did it that way.
I would love that, but I kind of think that because Mario Maker 2 itself isn't even releasing until after E3, that they might want to keep that card close to their chest for something they can surprise people with in like an August Direct or something. Like, why blow that whole load immediately?
Yeah.
Well, Mario Maker 2 is coming out this month.
Yeah, and we already have the 3D World theme. It would just be weird for them to announce another extra theme before the game is even out, but maybe. I would love that.
We see that open space.
No,
there.
it's true.
It's not like,
Yeah.
It's not like it's a
No,
secret
that's a good
that
point.
there's probably going to be something there, unless they're just pulling a Mega Man 7 and leaving an open slot that just throws the whole thing off.
I wonder if it's already in the game, or they would just be like, okay, we're doing free updates, and here's the first one.
I would say free updates. Nintendo's never...
Yeah.
I don't think they've really gone that route usually in terms of having DLC on the disc that ships at launch but just locked behind a key. Like, they don't usually do that.
I mean, I'd assume it would be unlocked at launch if they announced it before.
Exactly. I think so, too. I still see that more as like as an August Direct kind of sleepy midsummer. Hey, guys, Mario Maker 2 is getting this cool update. Check out this Mario 2 theme, just to kind of generate some interest in, getting some players back into playing it. Because, all but the most hardcore level creators may have at least somewhat moved on by that point.
Save it for the October and the anniversary of Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Let's see.
cool.
I'm looking down my list here. Do you guys have any, Nintendo predictions, or...?
I have one.
I have no predictions at
yeah.
all because,
Okay.
E3 is just in such a state now that it's like anything. It's either stuff that I've been wanting and hoping for years, like a new Rad Racer or Bushido Blade, or just stuff that could be announced at literally any time, and it's just trying to predict E3 itself is just.
Yeah.
You went there, man. You said Rad Racer, and I'm not necessarily hoping for that, but one of my dream announcements is Ridge Racer 8 for Switch. I miss Ridge Racer so dearly. I love arcade racers, having a good time with Team Sonic Racing, but I need my Ridge Racer, and it's been so long. Ridge Racer 7 came out for the PS3's launch. That's how long it's been gone. Well, there's Unbounded and all that, but we don't count those.
Man.
But I want a proper
Ridge
Ridge
Racer.
Racer 8 for the Switch or all modern consoles, but that's my Bandai Namco dream announcement, I think.
Yeah, maybe that would get me to play Ridge Racer for the first time, because I don't know if I've played it before, believe it or not.
It has its very
I should give it a shot.
distinct flavor of arcade racing. Like, if you like the idea of, completely unrealistically drifting around corners at 400 miles per hour to, thumping electronic music, Ridge Racer is for you. And personally, I love that, so, yeah.
That sounds like Outrun 2 to me.
Oh, yeah, very Outrun-ish, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would really love for a new Outrun or a re-release or update or something to Outrun 2 or
me
Online Arcade or
too.
Coast to Coast or whatever you call it.
Yes.
I need that back in my life, and with my 360 dead and Online Arcade on there, and it's I need something.
Completely agreed, yeah. Well, I won't. I guess I probably came over prepared because GameXplain. I'm expected to have a bunch of Nintendo predictions. So I won't go into all of them, obviously, because I probably should save some for the GameXplain discussion. But what else do I have? I guess I'll do a couple of more. I think we're gonna get a release date for Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with that.
I think it's going to be November 18th or 21st. I think it's going to be Nintendo Day, because they usually release their big things every year on either the 18th or 21st. Although we now know that Pokemon Sword and Shield are coming on the 15th.
It's coming out 15. Yeah.
I'm going to disagree.
Oh, yeah?
Have they said anything about when Link's Awakening is coming out yet?
Fall, I believe. Fall.
Okay,
Yeah.
they'll probably maybe narrow it to holiday or November or something, but I don't think we're going to get an exact date just yet.
That could be, and they might have said holiday.
Because that just doesn't seem like a Nintendo thing to do.
You may be right.
I would agree with Ash, and I would even say that maybe it'll come out the same day as Pokemon, because I just remember back in the Wii U and 3DS area, they would have two big games coming out the same day.
But those were usually for
Pokemon.
different consoles.
Usually, yeah.
That's that's the problem. Is that that was when they were still doing the dual 3D handheld console thing, and I'll never forget how great a day that was. There was this A Link Between Worlds and Super Mario 3D World came out on the same day, and it was incredible. But I don't know if they would want to take away attention from multiple Switch titles by releasing anything on the same day as Pokemon Sword and Shield, right? Because they don't have to.
Yeah.
Especially on those kind of scales, because you're going to be forcing people to decide.
Right.
Something small is an alternative to, okay, so you're not a Pokemon fan. Well, here's something else we've had in the wings, might be a thing. I
Steel
think
Diver.
they regard Link's Awakening higher than that, though, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess...
I have a prediction, actually.
Go for it.
I think this... I know we all say it every year, but I think this could actually be the year we finally see whatever Retro Studios was working on before Metroid Prime 4. Because Reggie tweeted that one image of him with all the presents, and we saw that robot character looking guy right behind him. He's just standing right there.
I forgot about that.
That's true.
That would be cool.
And then someone from Retro Studios was like, giving people winky faces and stuff when they asked her what was going on with that. So I'm thinking they have something up their sleeve.
That could be possible. I feel like the one time that we don't predict that, it's going to happen. I've been predicting Mother 3 ever since there seemed to be real, serious rumors coming out about it coming for Wii U Virtual Console. And then that never happened. So at this point, I've basically stopped predicting that it's going to happen and hoping that it will.
So what you're saying is that Shadow Rock just ruined it for all of us.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm the worst.
I guess I'll throw out a smaller prediction. I think that we are going to get another Wii U port to Switch, and I think it might be Tokyo Mirage Sessions. It just feels right. I don't know.
Yes. I want that.
I want a Super Mario 3D World port to
Me
Switch.
too.
I think that's
man.
inevitable. And in fact, that might even be a good E3 prediction. I think that is absolutely inevitable. If Tropical Freeze can make it to Switch, 3D World can.
Yeah, I think that's just a matter of time because of 3D World being in Mario Maker now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
People want to know what's
I was wondering if that wasn't kind of a precursor to that kind of announcement. So here's hoping, because I really liked 3D World.
Yeah, I did too.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I did too.
As far as Wii U ports, this is more on a wish list than anything, but I really want to see the Zelda HD remakes come over to the Switch.
I was just
Me
thinking
too.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need that handheld Wind Waker HD, man.
That's the last things I would really want as far as Wii U ports. Once those 4 games are on the Switch, I'm kind of done with the Wii U now.
Exactly.
I forget what else was on the Wii U that I wanted to see ported over. I would love to see Nintendo Land come to Switch in some form. I know they couldn't do it exactly the same, but I mean, they've made adjustments and stuff before, but some of the games there I'd still like to be able to play again.
Sure.
Pikmin
Like the
3.
Balloon Trip.
Give me Pikmin 3, man. I don't know if people appreciated that.
I was never a big
Yeah,
Pikmin
Pikmin
fan,
3.
but I do think that should be brought over to Switch because, basically every major game that came out for Wii U was underplayed because nobody had a Wii U. So I do think, I'm not a big Pikmin fan, but it deserves a second shot at life on Switch for, Pikmin 3.
And how about Game & Wario, huh?
Ooh,
Oh, man. Such a cool idea and concept, but just such a lack of content.
Okay, I was really expecting more crickets chirping there, but
I like the game. It's just there wasn't much game there.
I never played
exactly.
it, actually.
WarioWare Gold. I would love a new, a WarioWare Gold, deluxe port,
Oh,
That'd be
I mean,
so
as
great.
long as we're just going pie in the sky, what we really want. I want Rhythm Heaven for Switch. That would be the more than anything else Nintendo could announce. That's almost the very top thing for me. I adore Rhythm Heaven.
Okay.
Samus Returns for Switch.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll happen because the creator and when the musician behind that series, Tsunku, has been going through some major health issues. So I don't think he's working on anything. But even a port of Rhythm Heaven Megamix for 3DS, I would love that for Switch.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You guys realize what we're basically doing now, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Just
have you seen that video where it's everything is on a Switch and the guy's snapping? It was IG on April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
And it was tax return maker simulator is on Switch, and just everything. And the guy's basically breaking his fingers trying to keep snapping.
Right. That was actually really well done. I like that.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And maybe we should think of something else to talk about before we turn into that.
That's true. I think we pretty much. I have a few more Nintendo predictions, but I should probably, I've already given 5, so I should probably rein it in a little bit. I have a couple of Xbox predictions.
5? That means you only have 50 more GameXplain, right?
I guess I have a couple of really easy Xbox predictions. Like, I think it's pretty clear that we're going to get the debut of the Xbox Scarlett, or whatever they're going to end up calling it, but the next generation of Xbox consoles. I think we're going to see that blown out. We're going to get out all the news, the design, all of it. I'd be lying if I said I cared all that much, but I do think we're going to...
Yep.
I love my Xbox One, so, I mean, I'm down for whatever on that front. But as far as games, I kind of said my piece on there. I'm still waiting for Halo Spartan Strike to come to friggin' console. I'm probably going to have to get it on PC. It's like a kind of a neat, it's a sequel to Spartan Assault, which is... Do you guys remember, Robotron and Smash TV and games like that? Yeah, it's basically a Halo game that plays sort of like that, except you don't have unlimited ammo and you can kind of switch out weapons and stuff, but it's sort of like a hybrid between, Halo and that, kind of.
Nice.
I really like it. I mean, like I said, I'm not a first-person shooter kind of guy. Once I saw that and laid hands on it, I was in love instantly. I had to have it.
Well, speaking of Halo, do you think Microsoft might devote any time at their conference to their, cozy partnership with Nintendo now and announce a couple of things for Switch, like Ori and the Blind Forest? I feel like that's just a matter of time now with Cuphead on Switch. Maybe even Halo Master Chief Collection. I don't know.
I love Ori and the Blind Forest so much.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, having that on Switch would be phenomenal. More people need to experience that game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a real possibility.
Gosh, that'd just be so wild. I think about telling myself that 15 years ago.
Oh, I know.
Halo's on a Nintendo platform.
No, I mean, I love what Nintendo and Microsoft are doing, because I think they both recognize that both of their audiences could benefit from each other's, games.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, their Nintendo fans can have this whole new, Nintendo fans tend to be very tunnel visiony, very single-minded about their love for Nintendo, so this would open up a sea of Xbox games that they would never even consider otherwise, and Xbox just gets their IPs out there to more people.
Yeah, because Xbox seems to be focusing more on the service model rather than being strictly a hardware format, so I mean it makes a lot of sense there. Yeah. Makes you wonder, how many, lunches they've had together up in Seattle to talk this kind of thing over.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I have a Nintendo prediction, actually.
All right.
So we heard that Cadence of Hyrule is coming out in June, I believe, and Nintendo always has this one announcement that's it's available today, and I think Cadence of Hyrule will be that game.
That does seem likely, although wasn't there didn't someone data mine Nintendo's site and found out that they, in the site's code, it said June 20th?
Did it?
I feel like I heard
that. Is that what happened?
I think that's what I heard.
I wasn't paying much attention because, I'm not a rhythm game guy, so I kind of tuned out, almost immediately.
Oh, okay. I mean, I would love that. I'm super hyped for Cadence of Hyrule because I am a rhythm game guy, and I'm a Zelda guy, and I'm a Zelda music guy, so all these things make me very excited for this.
Yeah,
I have literally no rhythm. That's why I kind of tune out.
Fair enough.
I shield myself from disappointment.
Gotcha.
Speaking of data mines, there's actually a thing about Splatoon 2.
Oh.
They're having the World Championship, of course. I don't think they're going to announce much, but they might do a little thing at the end hey, here's the next Splatfest, Unicorn versus Narwhal, which is the next data mine Splatfest. And they also data mine some text where Marie and Pearl Marina and Pearl are talking about how something big is coming. Can you feel it? Is basically what they're saying. And it's oh boy, it's time. It's time for the Battle of the Squid Waifus round 2.
PG.
Maybe a new DLC, a new single player campaign expansion? Another Octo expansion type thing?
I think we might actually get Pearl versus Marie at the Splatfest, just the last game.
That would be so cool. Just do it both. Make it a tournament bracket. Do Callie versus Marie and Marina versus Pearl, and whoever wins both of those go to the final. I love that idea.
That's good. Also, I keep saying Marie. I meant Marina.
Right. And I'm just saying, if you have good taste, then the final battle is going to be Callie versus Marina. Because, come on, Pearl and Marie, no. All my GameXplain crew members would disagree with me on that. They love Marie, or at least Andre does, but I'm a Callie fan.
I'm a Marie fan, so...
Gotcha. Hashtag Team Callie.
She's cute too. There's not one I really hate or anything.
I think Marina would be like of all of them. I like Marina would be my favorite.
Yeah,
She's super cool.
Like Pearl's okay. You get used to her after a while, but I think Marina is definitely the standout. So
Yeah.
if that versus thing happens, I don't think it'll be fair.
Yeah, completely. I totally agree. Although there are a lot of, I feel like there's some Marie fans, some Marie Pearl fans. God, I keep getting them all mixed up. And I feel like there are some Pearl fans, but I'm not a big fan of Pearl. I feel like Marina would just smoke her.
Yeah, unless they do your idea with the two groups of squid sisters or whatever going against each other.
Well, because that's what I wanted to do. Like, one of my favorite Splatfests they've ever done was the Ninja Turtles one. Like, that was such a cool crossover.
That was.
And I want to see more stuff like that, because that's what they did with that. They had all the Turtles facing off, and then they had the final one with Raph and Donnie. And that was such a fun thing to be a part of, and I would like them to do more crossovers like that with characters outside of Nintendo.
I remember when they did Transformers as well. My disappointment, though, was that you couldn't keep the, I think it was like Autobot and Decepticon shirts after the event, though.
Yeah.
That kind of nuked my interest, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Not the biggest Splatoon guy, but I tuned in for that. That was fun.
Oh yeah, I liked Splatoon. I'm just terrible at it, but I did make sure to play in every TMNT Splatfest that I could, because I actually really cared. I'm like, who's gonna win? I want to represent Team Donnie and Team Raph. Like, this matters to me.
Yeah, man.
Team Donnie and Team Raph. Yes, I wonder.
To be fair, I will say it's not just because of my dad. Those are actually, it's funny. Everyone says that, but they actually they actually were my favorite Turtles anyway. And I know that sounds very unlikely and very like, yeah, okay, sure. It's actually true. I promise.
That's awesome.
My only other prediction maybe about Splatoon 2 is last year they had a World Championship 2018 t-shirt that you could like download in the game. I'm pretty sure they'll do one for 2019 as well. Just a small little thing.
Okay.
With Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm loving that show, by the way. And fantastic voice work there, too, I'll add. That would be prime for another, four-way Splatfest. And it would be kind of different like this time, presumably, because the way the Turtles are presented is a little different now, so...
I will say, I think you're the first person I've ever heard say that about Rise. Like, I personally can't stand it. I don't like the designs. I don't like the vibe. It reminds me of Teen Titans Go after Teen Titans, and I hated that, too. Which is funny because, and my dad totally gets, he doesn't take this up personally, but my dad's the voice director on Rise, right?
I do.
Yeah, so, I don't like it personally, and I think a lot of people have said to him, I'm not really a big fan. Of course, he doesn't take it personally, but I might have liked it more if it didn't come after the fantastic other Nickelodeon series, which was so good.
I am enjoying it precisely because it came after that, because... Between, the 2003 series, okay, we had the original cartoon, we had the 2003 series, we had the new Nick series that, basically blended, a lot of everything, just from all across the entire Turtle multiverse into such a great series that it's almost darn near definitive, just of Turtles,
Sure.
the property as a whole over its entire existence, and I wanted something different.
That's a fair point.
Something still recognizably Turtles, but different, and Rise is giving that to me.
No, that's a totally fair point. By the way, I just want to point out, I love how this has really become a grab bag of not only Mega Man, but E3 predictions, Ninja Turtles lore discussion, or Ninja Turtles series discussion. It's great.
Oh, yeah, you make a good point. I predicted E3 we will see a Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game from someone that does something. Or maybe not Rise, but let's say Turtles Tournament Fighters. Let's say maybe Konami gets back the license for that, so they can re-release their old games in one of their collections.
Oh, yes.
I'll be happy with that.
I want a Konami arcade beat 'em up collection. Get X-Men in there, both Turtles games. That would be so cool.
Oh, sweet.
Honestly, I think Turtles could carry its own collection.
Oh, I think so. You get Turtles in Time and '89 in there, that could definitely carry its own collection. Yeah.
It could actually carry two collections, just going by the rule of, 8 or 10? Let's see, there were 3 Game Boy games, there were 4 NES games, there were 2 Super NES games, 2 Genesis games, Let's see, 2 arcade games, and then with the revival in 2003, there were 3 games there. I forget what they might have done on GBA.
There is a lot there.
I mean, granted, that's like going further than they've done with any of the collections, but yeah, I mean, there's plenty there to chew on.
I think the problem there is it just where's the market for it? Like even current Ninja Turtles fans probably aren't going to care too much about. Oh, Follow the Foot Clan for Game Boy. Yes, I can go back and play this Turtles game from 1991. Like, I just don't feel.
I mean, they put Castlevania: The Adventure on the Castlevania collection.
That's true.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, it's more like, you know, kind of making the value proposition seem better rather than as a selling point in itself.
True.
Like the selling point for like the Castlevania collection was probably Bloodlines for a lot of people.
Right, I think so too.
Yeah.
So you know, and just having the Game Boy games, like the first one, just kind of pads it out a bit.
Right.
All right, so TMNT collection, let's go.
Yeah, do we have anything else? Like that kind of tangented off of Splatoon there. So, did you guys have any other thoughts you want to throw on that before moving on?
I do a rapid fire Nintendo thing here. So there's games we already know about, such as Astral Chain, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Animal Crossing, which we don't really know much about, but it's announced. And Luigi's Mansion 3, we also don't know much about it. I think we could get a lot of information on any of these games, really, and have hopefully a release date. Hopefully.
I think we might get a release date for Luigi's Mansion 3, yeah. And I don't think we'll get one for Animal Crossing, but I think we're going to get a lot of information on it. Like, we'll get a name and just maybe the big twist of this particular Animal Crossing game.
I still think y'all are kind of having high hopes about these release dates. Like, release windows seems to be Nintendo's thing until, like, you know, a couple months out, you know?
That could be, yeah.
Thing is, though, like, the first half of the year has already been pretty dry. They need to give us a roadmap for this year already. You know what I mean?
I know, but they're Nintendo. I don't think they're that invested in what we.
I mean, that is
just,
true.
You know, be there on launch day whenever we say it is, and you know everything's episode.
I mean, if they were invested, then we'd have online that's actually just worthy of 2019, even in a basic sense. So,
Oh man,
they don't really care.
Yeah.
that's a wish list right there. Actually, good online.
Yeah, that's something I'd like. I don't think we'll get it announced, but SNES games for Nintendo Switch Online would be awesome.
That was on my list too.
Yeah,
They've been data mined, or evidence of it.
Right,
So
exactly.
Matter of time.
Well, they registered a trademark for, like, you know, a Game Boy Classic or something too, and that ain't happening. So,
at least not at E3. That seems like its own announcement type. I don't think they need to do that at E3.
well, that was like a year or so ago or more. Like, you know,
Right.
like when the NES Classic was. I don't even think we had the Super NES Classic when that was discovered. So, I mean, you know, just because it's there doesn't
True.
mean it's, you know.
And it does kind of feel
Doesn't
like
mean
they'd
hold
go to
your breath.
N64 first at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe. They
Yeah.
said they aren't doing any more classic consoles because Switch is cleaning up, so,
Yeah.
you know. And now the time is prime for Sega to move in and welcome us to the next level. But that's,
You know, I would pay such good money for a Saturn, like a Sega Saturn Mini. Like, I would be
me too,
happy to
me
pay,
too.
like, upwards of, like, you know, I'm serious, like, $200, whatever, because Saturn games are so
Dang.
rare, and they're so
Yes.
hard to play.
That is true.
Like, you know, a one-time
Preach.
purchase, give me, like, the best, biggest releases for the Sega Saturn, Virtual Fighter 2, the Saturn version of Sonic 3D Blast, you know, Panzer Dragoon,
Bug.
Saturn Bomberman.
Saturn Bomberman.
Never
Yes,
been re-released.
Saturn Bomberman.
Never been re-released.
Knights,
Just
like,
do it.
just Knights by itself I'd take, but, like,
Mega Man 8.
yeah,
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
I
Mega
feel
Man
like
8.
there's so much potential for a Sega Saturn Mini, yet all they seem to ever want to do is Genesis and occasionally Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Master System needs more love,
That,
too.
yeah.
I'd go for a Dreamcast Mini.
I would too. Hell.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay quite as much
Same.
for that as I would a Saturn Mini, but I'd still, you know, I'd
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
There's still good games on there.
Oh, totally. Dreamcast was a
Yeah.
great system.
Oh, it really was.
Yep, still got mine.
I just got one.
The, oh, sorry.
That's it. I just got a Dreamcast recently.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Welcome to the next
Very
level.
nice.
And
It's
before that,
thinking.
I recently got a Saturn too. So, no,
Nice.
I'm just waiting for the.
Welcome to the next level. I hope to join you there
I
someday.
hope to get the level 3 of the Genesis Mini soon.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
I really, you know, what would be a nice announcement there at E3 is if they You saw the mini tower thing that they're doing in Japan for the Mega Drive Mini, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want a Western version of that because I've been wanting to kind of put together my own tower with the actual model ones for a while now. I just haven't really been able to get around to it. Although instead of a 32X, I was going to go for a power-based converter, but still.
Interesting. Hey, can we talk about how amazing it is that Mega Man The Wily Wars is actually coming to America via the
man.
Mini?
What a cool
Oh, yeah.
surprise. It really
Yeah.
helped take the sting out of Sonic 3 and Knuckles probably never ever going to get re-released again in our lives. So, that really
Yeah.
hurts to not have that, but holy crap, the Wily Wars is actually being officially released in North
Holy
America.
crap.
That is so
Yeah.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
dang
At
cool.
60 frames per second too. It's the 60 hertz version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank God.
Yeah.
Gosh. Instant buy.
I can't wait. The last time I played Wily Wars was on some crappy emulator that just didn't really perform it all that well.
I know.
So I can't wait.
See, like recently I did a Mega May marathon, and I played Wily Wars as one of the segments, and it was a pain in the butt to get a save file for the Wily Wars Wily Tower section because the emulation cannot support saving for Wily Wars. It's like, oh, that's
Oh
terrible.
yeah.
Okay, there's supposed to be a patch for that, but that notwithstanding, you brought
Yeah.
up something that I've been trying to decide whether it warrants its own post or if I should just tweet it because people brought it up on Twitter.
What's that?
People are asking, there were problems with unlocking Wily Wars on the
Yeah.
in emulation and on the at-game Sega Genesis whatchamacallit thing. So I reached out to Sega, and I guess I may as well break it here. I have no idea when this comes out, in relation to whatever else I might say with it. But the word I was told is, and I quote, "Hello there, David. Yes, I can confirm the Wily Tower is included with Mega Man The Wily Wars for the Sega Genesis Mini. Hope that clears things up."
I mean, I'm more
good.
I'm more confused
I mean-
as to why anyone would think it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's part of the game.
Precedents.
That is part of the Wily Wars. Why would they?
That's like the whole reason you get the game.
Yeah, why would they include a game without
I
it?
said, it wasn't available on the at games thing, and it apparently didn't work right in emulation and that stuff.
Oh, yeah, 'cause then
I
save-
figure with them two doing it, I can't imagine it not working.
Yeah,
So
I think they know
that
there
would
would
be
be
such a tremendous oversight.
there would be rioting among Mega Man fans if they said, "Oh, here you go, your first official release of the Wily Wars." Except no, all of the unique content from that game. Sorry, you don't get it.
Yeah. I have a sad story actually, because I was playing through the game to unlock Wily Tower for the marathon, and I played through all 3 games, but then I realized that the emulators have problems with saving, so I didn't unlock it at all. And I'm like, crap, I just wasted 3 hours of my life.
No.
Sorry, are you saying Wily Tower?
Wily Tower.
Wily Tower.
Wily Tower.
Nice.
Okay, gotcha. So back on the Nintendo front, something I was going to mention, just something that sits alongside a new Rad Racer and a new Bushido Blade release in my perpetual come on, maybe this will be the year thing is something new with Star Tropics from Nintendo.
That would be nice.
Oh.
I don't see it happening, but I think that would be awesome.
We'll have Mother 3
I'd love
first.
a 3D remake by maybe a Western studio. I've been thinking Retro or one of the guys up north. Oh god, I'm blanking on who are the guys who do Luigi's Mansion and that stuff now.
Oh, what are they called? Yeah, I know. I've
It wasn't Monster, was it?
no. Who is it? Let's see. I have a hard time remembering their name too. Grezzo.
I usually don't.
Oh, sorry, no, that's for the
weird
3DS
thing.
version.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Actually, do we
Grezzo.
know who's developing it yet? I can't remember.
Well, I'm talking. They did a Dark Moon.
Right. Yeah,
Next Level
Grezzo.
Games.
Oh, okay. Because I know Grezzo
Oh,
did
yeah.
the Luigi's Mansion port for 3DS.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, Dark Moon was. I believe you're right. Yeah, Next Level. You're right.
It'd be pretty nice if they made a Switch collection of the first 2 Luigi's Mansions, just to get
That'd be great.
us ready for 3.
That'd be
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. But yeah, I've just been wanting something sort of like a 3D Zelda, but it's Star Tropics, and
I mean, I think Star Tropics could potentially benefit from a really cool, from the ground up redesigning like Kid Icarus got. Although, unfortunately,
Or
Kid
that,
Icarus
yeah.
Uprising, even though it is one of my very favorite games of all time, and probably my very favorite 3DS game of all time, it tanked because people have terrible taste and didn't buy it. And so
I think it was the controls. That's why I want them to port it to the Switch.
God, that would be that's up there with Rhythm Heaven Switch for me. Like if I got a true Switch port of Kid Icarus Uprising, hell yeah, I would be there day zero.
Oh yeah,
That'd be awesome. Okay, so since we're talking about games we really want that might not happen, I really want a 2D Metroid game. It could be Metroid 5, it could be a Fusion remake, or it could even be a port of Samus Returns. I'd love to see a 2D Metroid on the Switch.
I think it'll happen eventually. Oh, how cool would it be if it actually ended up being Metroid Dread all this time later? That would be such a neat resurgence.
Great plot twist.
Yeah.
We already got Metroid Dread, except they called it Other M.
Oh man.
Yeah. But I was thinking at the end of Samus Returns, they have that cutscene where the X-Parasite takes over one of the monsters, and I was like, yeah, that's totally a Fusion remake hint.
I
could see that happening.
Fusion was a great game.
I would love it if they actually decide to progress the series someday.
Yeah.
Like you said, Metroid 5.
Yeah, that's what I want that even more than Prime 4, to be honest. Like, I'm looking forward to Prime 4, but I want a proper 2D Metroid 5 that pushes the story forward.
Tell us what happens after Metroid Fusion, please.
Exactly.
No, we'd rather tell you what happens between the in-between of Metroid 3 and 4.
Yeah.
But, between Metroid Other M and Metroid Fusion. Honestly, it's like, I don't know, does anybody in gaming go backwards more than Nintendo when it comes to narrative? Like, you look at Zelda, and it's... I think Breath of the Wild is the first time they actually, were forward-looking.
True.
Because for the longest time, it was like... okay, we got The Legend of Zelda and then a sequel that took place, a bit later. And then it was like, oh, well, here's, what happened before all that. And then Ocarina, here's what happened before all that. And just, who even knows with, Wind Waker, and then we get into all the timelines and all that crap. We end up with Skyward Sword. Here's what happened before all that.
Well, I will say that, Wind Waker...
came after Minish Cap, which was before all that.
Right.
And then Metroid's turning into the same thing. It's like you've got an entire trilogy, possibly a quadrilogy at this point, that is after the original Metroid. And then it's, we got Fusion, then it's like we get Other M, which is before Fusion, and there's no forward movement. We're just...
Right.
plugging holes.
What they seem to like to do is...
Which is ironic because we were just talking about Capcom doing that with Mega Man.
Right.
But
Yeah, they seem to like to jump around in specific time periods and make sequels in those time periods. So, you have Wind Waker, which was itself a jump forward. It was for its time the end of the child timeline, and then the adult timeline. Yeah. And then you got Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, which were further extensions into the future. Same thing with same thing with let's say Link to the Past and Link's Awakening. They went back to the past, but then made a sequel to that, and you see that with Metroid as well.
Yeah, with Zelda, they tend to kind of do these things in pairs a lot of the time, I notice. You had Zelda, then Zelda 2. Link to the Past, then Link's Awakening, which was presumably the same Link. They used the same art and stuff.
Right.
So, then Ocarina and Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, and...
Twilight Princess.
Phantom Hourglass.
Oh, sorry, I thought you... Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and then I think Twilight Princess was on another time. I forget.
Yeah, Child Timeline, yeah.
I don't think Twilight ever actually got a direct follow-up the way, because I don't think it ever got its pairing.
Unless you count Breath of the Wild, because
I was going to say that.
Support.
Yeah, because I
Breath
still
of the
am
Wild,
of the
I think
belief
they
that
said
it
just
is.
takes place at the end of all the timelines.
Yeah.
Some weird convergence thing, so it's like, okay, fine. But like I was saying, this is all before Breath of the Wild.
Totally.
It's the first time in 20 years they really, went forward with one of these things instead of backward.
Right.
They went forward
Not
with everything.
counting the pairing sequels, the direct sequels.
Man, we've covered it all. We've gone through Ninja Turtles, Zelda timeline discussion, E3 predictions, Mega Man,
what a grab
Dream
bag.
projects. We've gone through everything.
Amazing.
Oh my god.
And then we get into Star Fox lore with is Star Fox Grand Prix still a thing?
Oh man.
Okay, that might have been that Starlink DLC.
Could have
never
been,
know.
yeah.
This might be the unpopular opinion where Star Fox is concerned, but I really didn't like Zero for various obvious reasons, but also because it was another reboot of a reboot, and I don't know. I really wish Nintendo would continue going all in on the weird aspect of Star Fox. Like, I love Star Fox Command because it had those, like, 9 different furry soap opera-y endings where, like, Crystal becomes cursed with a K and Fox is despondent and like, drowning his sorrows at the bar, and then Falco's like, let's join the G-Zero unit. None of it, it's all... But it's great, and no other Nintendo series does that.
Yeah.
One, I don't think hating Star Fox Zero is a very unpopular opinion at all.
Oh, sorry. The unpopular part I meant was wanting them to go all in on the weird, furry space opera aspect of Star Fox.
Star Fox GP.
Right.
Command, I couldn't stand the controls on.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I do agree. They need to stop remaking the gosh darn franchise. Just go forward already.
No, give me a game where
Seriously?
like Fox has to cross paths with Star Wolf or with Cursed now, and he has to win her back over to the good side. I don't know, something dumb like that. I want Star Fox to embrace the dumb while still being great games.
I'd love it if instead of just constantly, looking back at Star Fox 64, we just got Star Fox and Star Fox 2 on the SNES Classic. Follow that branch.
Sure.
That would be awesome, actually.
Yeah.
I really like the new characters, Faye and Miyu, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to do more of those characters.
It'd be a nice shakeup. Maybe bring Farrah Phoenix in properly from the comics.
Maybe Capcom maybe Nintendo could take an idea from GameXplain's own April Fool's joke and make a Captain Falcon action game.
That was a silly prediction I had, that there will be a Ubisoft crossover with the F-Zero franchise where it's like a brawler or something.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Let's see. Speaking of brawlers, something I was going to mention on the Xbox front. Hopefully we hear more about Battletoads this year.
I think we will.
Guaranteed, yeah.
And also on that front, I wouldn't mind hearing about a Killer Instinct 2. And Forza seems to be a shoo-in, and they got all those studios, so hopefully there will be lots of announcements coming out of Microsoft.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll get a Battletoads re-reveal. I don't really think Rare is working on anything else at the moment. Maybe some Sea of Thieves stuff, but I don't think they're working on a Banjo game. I really wish they were, but I don't feel it.
Yeah.
They should do a new Diddy Kong Racing minus Diddy Kong, or possibly with, depending on how this whole relationship goes. But let's just pretend that Nintendo's not a part of it, and feature a whole bunch of Rare and Microsoft characters. Maybe headline it with Banjo and Conker or something.
Oh, totally.
Sweet.
While we're at it,
That'd be
can
neat,
we get a GoldenEye remastering? Not a remake, but a remastering that carries forward the N64 era GoldenEye, but just makes it look nicer. Local
Pretty
multiplayer,
cool.
online multiplayer, that would be... Don't mess with it too much, because GoldenEye has its very own specific DNA. But just like what they did with Perfect Dark for the Xbox 360, like that port. Do that to GoldenEye.
I think that would probably have to please too many
Nah,
masters.
you're totally right. Yeah, I don't think it'll happen, but it would be so cool.
Oh, man.
Let's see. Now, okay, just to kind of round things out a bit here, we mentioned that Sony, they're not going to be at the show. Has there been any word about them doing one of their state of plays for Nintendo does their Nintendo Directs there now?
I don't think
not
so.
that I heard of. Yeah.
But
I mean, it's such a it's state of play is such a copycat program. It'd be weird for them not to do one during E3.
But even if they don't,
it seems like we'd hear about it by now.
even if they don't, I don't think it matters because Square Enix is giving another reveal. Is releasing more information about by far the most important part of the recent state of play, which is FF7 Remake, at least in my opinion. And we know that Square Enix already is going to blow even another lid on that game at E3, so that'll be really exciting.
I mean, they're taking Sony's old spot after all, so yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, are they? I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
speaking of Square, did you guys hear about Collection of Mana being trademarked in Europe?
Oh, yeah!
Yes.
Could
Dang,
mean
yeah.
maybe we'll finally get our first official release of Seiken Densetsu 3.
Dude, that'd be amazing.
That would be
So
so
great.
cool.
That could be a really good reveal for the Nintendo Direct.
I agree.
To better appeal to Western audiences, we've replaced Seiken Densetsu 3 with Secret of
Oh
Evermore.
God, no!
Please enjoy.
No! Why would you even go there? Oh God!
I actually got my wife a copy of that for Christmas a couple of years ago.
Nice. I mean, it's not a
last
bad
year.
game.
I forget
It's just a
when it was.
very acquired taste.
It's like they don't want to spend the money to translate 3, so they'll just port evermore.
God, the thing I
Yeah,
know
who
is I
knows?
can almost see
That's
them
the
doing
idea.
that. I can almost see
Yeah.
that being realistic,
Yeah.
and I hate that thought.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's the one it replaced before, right? Like in fans' eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Like people really
Yeah,
wanted
so it's
that
like
secret.
history
yeah.
repeats itself.
Oh, I hope not. Please no. But they can't call it Mana Collection if they put Evermore in there, right? I mean, they can. They could look. They had Final Fantasy Anthology where only one half of it was Final Fantasy and the other was Chrono Trigger, so they can do whatever they want.
Secret collection.
Yeah, the Secret Collection. Yeah. I guess if we're talking about Square Enix, it's never going to happen. But my dream announcement from them would other than Chrono Trigger,
guys?
anything.
Oh, of course.
Guys? Oh, Chrono
Yeah,
Trigger.
well,
Right,
other than
yes.
Chrono Trigger, anything
Yes,
would
Chrono
be
Trigger.
a Theater Rhythm All-Star Carnival port for Switch, or a new Theater Rhythm for Switch, or even a port of Curtain Call. I don't care. Just bring back Theater Rhythm for Switch.
I could see that.
So no guys.
That'd be a good fit on the Switch, I think.
Oh, I think so too. Would be with the
Yeah.
touchscreen and just play. You can play with a controller in TV mode, touchscreen and handheld mode, and
Yeah.
look, they at least got a customer in me because I was one of those madmen who actually did buy every single piece of DLC for Curtain Call because I liked it that much. And there were 100 songs, and each one was $1. So I'm serious about Theater Rhythm.
Awesome. When we were talking about Wii U ports earlier, I actually missed a big one at Xenoblade X. They've been talking about that for a while.
Oh, right.
Like, people would ask one of the guys at Monolith Soft if X is happening. He said that he would like to do it, so it'd be a major undertaking, of course, but
That would be
who
cool.
knows?
I think I would
Yeah.
rather see a port of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 first, maybe a slightly
Yeah.
up-resed, because I was never a big fan of the whole open world focus of X, but I feel like we're going to see that game ported to Switch eventually.
yeah, Xenoblade 1 HD, that's actually on my dream list. I really want to see an HD version of Xenoblade 1 just
That
to
would be
complete
awesome.
it in 2. Yeah.
Oh, geez, how could I forget? We're talking about Square or RPGs in general. Please, please, please reveal Bravely Third for Switch. Please. Like, Bravely Second was my game of the
God.
year for, 2016, 2015, whatever. And, oh, man, the cliffhanger. And I know, obviously, the team, they released that artwork, I think, to around the turn of the new year with the Octopath Traveler and Bravely characters kind of, like, interacting and hanging out. So I really hope they're making the third main Bravely game. I love that series so much.
I love it so much too. It was awesome. I really hope they bring it back.
Me too. Especially
Especially
with, the
the
music.
music.
Good lord,
The
yeah.
music.
Octopath,
Nice.
get Yasunori Nishiki to do the music for Bravely Third. There you go, slam dunk.
Yeah. You also just reminded me of another potential Wii U port because was it Platinum released this image of the wonderful 101 characters with the Joy-Cons and everything? I wonder.
that's true.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I wonder
yeah.
how that game would
Yeah.
even work.
Wow.
I don't know.
At least
but
in TV mode.
I remember at the time that was pretty suspicious.
Right. And it's a cult
Yeah,
classic.
It'd have to be reworked.
Cult favorite.
Maybe you'd like gesture with a Joy-Con, like in the air or something.
Maybe.
Just like draw, like air drawing. Like I remember that was a thing in Power Rangers Samurai on the Wii. So
Right.
Yeah.
could work.
Red Steel 3. Out of nowhere. There you go.
Yeah.
I liked Red Steel too,
Yeah.
so hey, I'm in. We were talking about Sony before. Let's just, play hypothetical. Like, okay, they're probably not going to, like, if they don't do a state of play and they don't show up there or whatever. But what kind of stuff would we want to see from them, regardless? I'm gonna lead off by
okay.
saying Ratchet and Clank.
Sure.
Okay, that's
Yeah. I miss Ratchet.
Sure.
I can always do with more Ratchet.
This will probably not surprise you guys, but Parappa 3. Please, bring Parappa back. I gotta believe he's gonna come back someday.
that's a good one too.
Nice.
Yeah. Ape Escape. I've been holding on to that for a while.
Okay.
Ooh.
Love Ape Escape.
That'd be cool.
I would like to see at least maybe a teaser for the next Uncharted, possibly starring, well, I don't want to spoil anyone because it is still a relatively recent release, but starring the character that you would think it would star if you have finished Uncharted 4.
I see. I was thinking about how Activision recently said that Crash Bandicoot and Spyro are their flagship franchises at the moment. It'd be pretty cool if we saw a new Crash Bandicoot, or at least a tease for one.
Wow, is Call of Duty falling that far?
I don't know. They said, what was it? Call of Duty, Crash, and Spyro are the top 3.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not Guitar Hero anymore.
I'm not gonna lie.
Tony Hawk.
That kind of died.
I'm not gonna lie. I have no nostalgia whatsoever for Crash Bandicoot. The character always just annoyed me in some vague way that I can't describe. He just always just annoyed me, and I just don't care about Crash at all. I understand he has his fans. He's cool. He's a PlayStation icon. I just never saw the appeal.
You know, Crash, I reviewed the Insane trilogy recently, and man, that stuff is tough. But, like, Crash himself, I'm indifferent to. I actually like more of his supporting cast, and, like, you know, those are, like, around him than Crash himself. So, for whatever that's worth. Like, playing as his sister was, like, more or less my default.
Same, actually, yeah. I'm indifferent with Crash as well, but... You know, the gameplay is pretty tight for at least back in the day, and it'd be nice to see him again in a new game for once.
Yeah.
I wish there was like an unlimited lives mode, because like that's just the real grating part for me. Is like I can keep throwing myself at the like stuff, and it's almost like a Super Meat Boy sort of way. But like, you know, then you have to worry about like running out of lives and continuing and retreading, and that's like where a lot of it comes down for me. I felt the third was the best of the trilogy, but just as far as like going like, you know, with the others, that's what like really brought me down.
I need to play more 3. I mostly remember 2 and 1, and I thought 2 was the best, of course. 1 is weird, like just going back to it.
Here we go. What if we got PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2?
No.
yeah, that poor game. It could have been something that was so much better than what it was, but man, talk about publisher interference. That game never had a chance.
I got a copy of that cheap, like a little while back, and played a little bit. I thought it was fun.
You know, I actually got a decent amount of enjoyment out of it, and I have to say, my buddy and I, who were both play Smash together all the time, I will admit, we both paid full price for PlayStation All-Stars because we were both so hungry for Smash 4, and we didn't know a whole lot about it by that point, so we were just like, anything that'll scratch that itch that isn't just us continuing to play Brawl, because we love Brawl, but like eventually you've got to try something different. And so that carried us through, kind of, but then, you know, until my buddy realized that Big Daddy's one of his specials is way OP, and I couldn't even touch him. Like, he would just smoke me in that game.
Ouch.
Oof. Here's one that'll never happen. Mother 3.
Oh man, I still want to believe there's a chance it could happen, because as far as, I mean, you know, there's that whole rumor with Emily Rogers, and I still 100% believe that she was right. I think that circumstances change, but I think that at the time she heard it and reported it, that it was happening, and I think something changed Nintendo's minds, and I still hold out hope that maybe there is a chance someday.
Y'all are nuts. Mother 3 is never coming to the PlayStation.
Nice. Yeah.
And another big pipe dream of mine is just a new F-Zero game in general.
Oh, right.
I really want that game back in my life.
Oh yeah, I mean,
That'd be nice.
60 FPS F-Zero HD.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sign me up.
Give it to the guys who developed Fast Racing RMX.
Yeah, Shinen. Yeah, they do a great job with it. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, problem is Miyamoto doesn't seem to think there's anything they can do with it. It's like, God, it's easy to imagine stuff.
Yeah,
it's like a completely different tone compared to like Mario Kart or whatever. So I don't know what Miyamoto is thinking these days.
You know, that's a great point about Mario Kart. I still believe that we're gonna get an original Mario Kart for Switch. I don't think it's gonna be just a deluxe. I think we're gonna get Mario Kart 9, or what I'd personally rather have is a Super Smash Kart, whatever it ends up being called, where you just get all of Nintendo's IPs.
I was thinking about that too.
Characters and tracks from across their whole, like, I want a Kirby track, I want, you know, a Star Fox track. I think it's time. Like, Mario Kart, I think they've done relatively everything they can with Mario Kart as it currently exists, and it's great still.
Right.
But I think it's time to branch out and do that, because they already have, you know, kind of dabbled in that with the Zelda and Animal Crossing DLC.
Yeah, so much DLC,
Here's the problem, and it may be too late. once they do that, there is no going back.
That's true.
Team
That is
Sonic
true.
Racing, just the reaction people have had to that. It's a great game as it is. The fact that it is only... They decided they wanted to make a Sonic-specific racer rather than like all the Sega stuff and all the, the tape that goes with that. And, I mean, that's just been, like, the biggest, like, criticism of the game since. So, if Nintendo were to evolve that... Mario Kart would effectively be dead.
To be fair, though,
there's no going back from that. Just in the audience's eyes, it would seem.
No, you're right.
And of course, you got to imagine how many Mario characters that people love would have to be sacrificed to fit in, like a full Nintendo roster that's even approaching non-third-party Smash.
Oh, you mean like Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Pink Gold Peach?
Exactly. Like, there's so much fat in the current Mario Kart roster. Get rid of all the... Well, okay, keep Baby Mario and Luigi, but who do we really need Baby Rosalina? Like, come on. And then, do we need the Koopa Kids to come back? Like,
Pink Gold Peach.
Pink Gold Peach. Like, there's so many characters they could cut.
I agree on the babies, but as early as Mario Kart 7, as I recall, the roster was, lousy. There wasn't Waluigi. Was Rosalina even playable in that?
I don't think so.
Exactly.
I don't think so.
And, I mean, it's like... They didn't have those. I've wanted Rob to come back ever since, Mario Kart DS, and admittedly, going this kind of route would probably increase the likelihood.
Right.
Having, Funky Kong there is, he's another I've, wanted to use, and I wasn't really good enough in Mario Kart Wii for that, so...
Well, Mario Kart Wii sucks, so that's okay. At least in my opinion.
Point.
No, I agree with what you're...
It's not my favorite. Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing is better racing game up until Mario Kart 8 anyway.
Oh, I'll raise you Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, which I thought was better than Mario Kart 8. Like, I still love that game to death. So, no, I hear you.
Man.
Well, I'm just saying that Mario Kart 8 is when the Mario Kart series, in my eyes, was actually able, on a even ground to the Sonic All-Stars games.
Gotcha. I mean, and I will say, I agree with you. There is no going back from that, and that could be a problem. However, it has not stopped them with Smash Brothers, because, with Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, where do you go from that? Like, literally everyone is here. Literally everyone. And where do you go from that? Sakurai...
I think Sakurai even said as much... It would be a departure next time.
Well, and he said that that's the kind of thing you can only do once, but at the same time, I feel like no matter, even if he said that, if they go back to a 20, 30 character roster and cut 40 characters,
there's gonna be a riot.
No one's gonna be happy with that. I mean, there will be a few people, but very few people are gonna be happy with that. But it didn't stop them from doing Ultimate, so there is precedent for it at least.
Yeah, but keep in mind, I mean, it's okay, would you continue calling it Mario Kart even if you've got all these Nintendo All-Stars in it, or would you change the brand?
You'd have to change the brand.
Because
and
that's the key, because Mario Kart is a very powerful brand, and I don't know that they would want to give that up, to expand it, which raises further complications.
No, that's a really fair point. Then if we can't get it, that's fine. Just give me Kirby stuff in Mario Kart 9 and I'll be fine. That's all I want.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Give me more F-Zero tracks.
There you go.
It's better
Bring
than
back
nothing.
Rob.
I just, it's ever since that Rosalina reveal trailer, I've never been able to get the bug for Kirby and Mario Kart out of my system. I really thought that when they were actually revealing Rosalina that they were revealing Kirby and Mario Kart, like a crossover. And that would be so cool. And of course, Rosalina and Smash was very cool as well, but I've never been able to get that bug out of my system.
Yeah.
So two thoughts following this this train that we're on here. One, I would really love to see an Ultimate, a Mario Kart Ultimate, in that it has all the racers, all the vehicles, all the tracks.
Yeah.
Because there's always tracks being left out or something, and I would love something that's just really everything. Second, if we're going into Smash's territory, Mega Man and the Rush Roadstar.
Oh, I mean, there's already you already got the Mega Man Mii costume in 8, so make it happen. Let's get Sonic in there. Let's get Mega Man in there, and
Wait, there's a Mega Man costume in Mario Kart 8?
No,
Yes,
well the Mii costume.
Mii costume. Mii costume. Yeah.
Okay, from the Amiibo, I
For
guess.
the Amiibo, yes.
Right. Yeah, sorry, the Amiibo
okay,
costume.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
We need another Mega Man Battle and Chase. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
I think there are probably
But before
15
we,
people around the world asking for that.
Oh.
Before we delve into that, you know what? I think that could be a topic all of its own, so maybe
True.
we can get together for that sometime.
That's a fun idea.
Cool.
Because, I mean, like we said, between, your Soccers and Battle and Chases and Command Missions, there's a lot of, first steps that they never got their Mega Man 2 moment. And,
Man.
I think we can have a good episode about that, especially if there's demand for it. Hint, hint, listeners.
Right, and especially because we've already covered so much. We've almost gone over 2 hours, so
Yeah.
probably not the best topic to get into here.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So do we have any other E3 stuff we want to get into?
I just want to say real quick, you really hit my heart there with Command Mission. I really want a sequel. I'm not going to get into it, but that would be like my dream announcement. I would be so hype, over the moon, if they ever announce a sequel to Command Mission. Oh, man.
Save those thoughts, because I think this is something we can come back to, and we're not trying to get caught up on the cartoon and stuff.
That's something I'd love to chat with you guys about, because Command Mission to me was like the definition of like a 5 out of 10 game, or a 7 out of 10, I guess. Let's say 7 out of 10. And I'd be curious to hear your thoughts as to why you really want a new one, because it didn't stand out to me, but that would be a fun discussion.
I'm with you, Ash. That's, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to hear that, because as much as I thought I always wanted it, and I didn't.
I'd be down to talk about that, because, like I said, I had hopes, and it didn't quite achieve those hopes. But, I'm not a role-playing game guy to begin with, for various reasons, but that one drew me in, and, like I said, we can get into that at another time. Do we have any other E3 thoughts here, or shall we start wrapping things up?
I guess I'll just say, in the unlikelihood that we do get a legacy collection, I would want Battle Network the most, and I would hope that maybe they would have a separate mode just for the online net battling. You could have like a chip pull from all across the series. Maybe you could operate different navies, because it would be really hard to just go back and add multiplayer, change the code for all 6 games, so they could just make a separate mode just for online, and everybody will be happy, probably.
Yeah.
That would be really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
That'd be cool.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Aside from Zero and Legends Collection, or Legendary Collection.
I mean, that is the thing about Battle Network, is that it is successful as it was, and as much as I loved it, it did come out a little before its time.
Yes.
And, especially with the theme of the game, and net battling, and online, and interconnect, always being connected. That is real now. That exists in the real world. So having a Battle Network on Switch where you can always be connected and have this robust online community of net battlers and what have you, I think that could actually be really cool.
Yeah. I've been sitting on that one for a while. I really want that mode to happen.
Yeah.
All right, that might be something we can explore more in depth another time. Set up another one of these. And, so with that, I know it's been a while since we've released an episode. We're on them. There's just been some technical difficulties, folks.
Yeah, right.
We're working through them, and hopefully we'll be able to get caught up with the rest of the Mega Man Fully Charged cartoon, and we've got other stuff planned, as you can probably tell, beyond the scope of the cartoon with the podcast, so hopefully you'll keep listening in. And, as always, if you're listening to the podcast, like on SoundCloud, which you can listen to directly or embedded on the Mega Man Network, and ShadowRock's probably going to be hosting this on his YouTube channel shortly after.
There's a video version coming as soon as I can.
Which they'll have probably watched it, potentially, by the time they hear that, but... let's see. But yeah, we're also on iTunes, and we're also on Google Play if those work better for your needs. The hosting fee is ours, but the choice is yours.
Actually, I'm sorry, I have to say, you are not on iTunes anymore. You are on Apple Podcasts. Because iTunes has been killed. So you might want to start saying that instead. Sorry to interject. I just wanted to, iTunes was literally just killed.
Wow, really?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apple killed it. So they're splitting it up into Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Apple Movies.
It's just one big apple pie over there, isn't it?
Nicely said.
Okay, so we're on Apple Podcasts, did you say?
I don't know when the actual rollout's going to begin, but yes, they're shortly. I think they're killing iTunes and replacing that with Apple Podcasts for the podcast segment of everything they offer.
Okay, update your listings if they don't do it for you, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, as for me, if you want to catch more of my, malarkey, you can find me on social media at the MM Network on Twitter, also on Tumblr, yeah. That's still a thing, kind of. And you can also look up the Mega Man Network on Facebook and the MMNetwork.com. Take it away, folks.
You can find me, Protodude, on Twitter at Protodude, and you can check out my blog, Rockman Corner. You can find it at www.rockman-corner.com.
You can find me on Twitter at ShadowRockZX, and I am also running the YouTube channel, ShadowRockZX. It's youtube.com/user/ShadowRockZX. We get to do a lot of Mega Man content on there, and chances are, if you're listening to this, you're probably on this channel anyway, so you're already in the right place. Nice.
Nice. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Ash Paulsen. It's ASHPAULSEN. And of course, you can find me on the YouTube channel GameXplain. I haven't done a lot of content on GameXplain recently just because I've been really focused on my new full-time gig at a company called New Radio Media, where I'm actually going to also be creating cool gaming-related content on their platforms. So go check out their stuff. It's newradiomedia.com. But I will be fully part of GameXplain's E3 coverage and will be on the channel as much as I possibly can be, but GX doesn't quite pay the bills, so gotta do what I gotta do. But yeah, that's where you can find me, and I just want to thank all of you again for inviting me onto this this episode of the podcast. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's awesome, and thanks for joining us. Alright, so for Protodude, for ShadowRockZX, and for Ash Paulsen, this is LBD Night Train saying everlasting peace out.